All right, Coach, 12-inning scrimmage tonight. Did you get what you wanted to out of tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to them about inexpensive versus expensive experience. Tonight was inexpensive because obviously it doesn't go on your spring record. I thought we know way more now than we did last week at this time. We've only had one inter-squad game under our belt, which was last week, or two inter-squads, which was last week, Thursday and Friday. So I think you saw a little bit of that, especially from the offensive side. I just thought we weren't very good with two strikes. That has something to do with the arms they ran out there, but I thought their guys did a super awesome job in terms of committing to the strike zone early, where our guys didn't. I mean, we were about 50% first pitch strikes, 50% first 2 out of 3s for strikes. So we were pitching behind predominantly the whole night, which is not a recipe for success. We only gave up 6 hits, but we walked 12 guys and hit 2 guys. So, first time out, pretty good crowd. You learn some guys. You see some guys in terms of having to get better at controlling their emotions a little bit. But there were some bright spots for sure.
Is there something to that with a fall game, just playing a team as good as A&M?
Yeah, I mean, you always want to have a barometer and play really good teams. I mean, that's a team. That's a regional team. It's a super regional team. It's a team that's got a lot of talent. Preseason number one last year, and now they have probably a little less expectations on them, so they're probably playing a little bit freer. But I thought they did a really good job. They were well coached, and I think you can, when you do that, as opposed to maybe playing, somebody else where you might have those things maybe not show up as much, your warts get exposed against really good teams. And I think from my side of things, on the pitching side, I just don't think we executed enough pitches early. I thought we did a really good job of pitching out of jams, a couple of double play balls, played really good defense for the most part, got the catcher's interference, which is rare, and then Jack just made a tough error on that one. But it was good to be able to get some guys out there. Obviously, not having Louis and Lepore throw tonight, and that was by design. And then Kate Durnan was supposed to go. He had food poisoning as well as Brady Dallimore. So those 2 guys, and obviously Stroh and Jack Arthur working their way back from shoulder surgeries. And so hopefully we get those guys back next week. I don't know. We'll see where we're at with the 2 that have been working back from their shoulder surgery. But we know more about our team. That's exactly what you want to do in a fall.
Of the 12 guys that threw tonight, did anyone stand out in particular?
No, I think there was some good and there was some negative almost with every guy. I thought Trevor Baumler threw the ball extremely well. First pitch, breaking ball to a first rounder. Caden Sorrell on a breaking ball that hit it out of the ballpark. Other than that, I thought he attacked really well. I thought Lance Davis, first time in a Frog uniform, really only made one bad pitch, which actually didn't. Well, the one bad pitch was the guy that he hit. Every other pitch I thought he executed. Gavin Grovic did a really good job of keeping his hands inside a sinker for that double, but I thought he threw the ball extremely well. Ethan Thomas, I'm thinking about some of the newer guys. Ethan Thomas, I thought, did a good job of controlling his inning when all of a sudden the guy got on, and I thought he made some really, really good pitches. So, Tyler Finau. Tyler only threw 1 inning last year, and he's been really working hard in the summer, and since we've been back in the fall, developing a new cutter, and I thought he looked really sharp. So that middle stretch was pretty good with some of those relievers, but it was good to get in that environment, right? All of a sudden Stearns, they're yelling ball 8, ball 9, or whatever it was on him, and I thought he got himself back under control and was able to get a strikeout in the inning. But that's, like you said, that's why you do it, is to put these guys in this environment. So when it does become expensive experience, you kind of know a little bit more about your ball club, as you continue to head through the fall.
You already mentioned kind of those middle innings. How encouraging is it to see your pitching staff kind of rebound after giving up a couple big innings right there?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going 1, so it's kind of a blow and go. Everybody's, probably throwing it as hard as they can, and sometimes, that's not a good thing. And I think that's where the execution failed. But to keep them kind of at a 5-0, when after they got out to a quick 5-0 after the first couple innings, for those guys to kind of keep them in check. And then for our guys, really, I thought once we had the guys that came in off the bench, I thought our at-bats actually got better. Once those guys got out there. Caius Gargett, who's switch hitting for us this year. Last year they took it away from him at his old stop, and he was only a right-handed hitter. I thought he had 2 of the better at-bats, driving in 2 runs, a really good line drive to second base. He made a good play on to score a run, and then probably a 10 or 11 pitch at bat to get the sac fly. that's really good. You want to see that as a head coach. You want to be able to see guys chomping a bit, ready for their opportunity. Blanchard with a good base hit in the left center, and another really good bat, getting the guy over. I think there was a lot of good things, a lot of things to clean up, and that's the tough part sometimes when you're. I mean, how many days we started on the 30th, our first day of practice, and we're sitting here on the 10th. So you find out about yourself really fast, and so you have another 25 or so practices, as well as a game next Friday to really start to hone in on things that you need to get better at.
Notice Colton Griffin made the move to outfield this fall. What was the logic behind that?
Well, I think his athleticism is apparent, and I think his shortcoming, and he'll tell you that, is probably just defensively. I thought he did a good job last year, but we feel really great about Lucas Franco coming in as a freshman, and obviously Jack Bell. I thought at the back half of the year and then into the summer, really, I thought he really ironed some things out with his swing. Preston Gamster, Cole Kramer. We thought we have a little, not a ton of depth. We only have 34 players, but we felt like he could be a little bit more of a difference maker in the outfield, and we felt like defensively, those guys that I talked about were maybe just a little bit ahead of him. So it's an opportunity for him to figure out a way to get in the lineup, and the more positions you can play, the more opportunities you'll get in the box.
You talked about Jack Bell a little bit there, but he has some great plays at shortstop.
Yeah.
What you kind of see from him at least defensively?
Well, and this was where he was his freshman year, right? So back in front of people that cheered for him a couple years ago, and he's hit a ball in the screws to center, and that's the way baseball is, right? He hits a ball in the screws and he's out, and he hits a little bleeder and he's sick. So that's baseball sometimes, but he's come a long way in terms of his confidence level, his swing. He did a really good job this summer in terms of flattening that thing out. He's being able to handle more pitches in the strike zone, cut down the swing and miss a little bit. But he's going to be an integral part of, whether he's at short or we know he can play a Gold Glove third base, and so whether it's at short or third or wherever, he's going to be a big part in terms of what we're doing.
Kramer had another 2 hits tonight.
Yeah.
How reassuring is it that you can kind of lean on a guy like that to be pretty consistent?
Well, I mean, the guys call him Unc. He's not the oldest guy, because Lane Hutchinson, he graduated in 2019, right? So he just turned 26. So he's not the old guy. So Lane is the old guy, but Cole's got a ton of at bats at Division I, Power 4 conferences, and he's kind of been there, done that, pretty steady Eddie, and finds ways to get hits.